let's get out in the community. Let's interact. Let's go over to the Senior Citizen Center and give an educational program on the values of the mammograms and what to expect, or how often do you need it, or answer their particular questions. So let's take with us some good quality collateral material, not a brochure that was done in-house that was put on a Xerox machine, because that does not represent your hospital the way that you want it to represent your hospital. You know, people are very visual, and they look at those handmade brochures and they form an impression. It's like, ooh, this doesn't look good. And psychologically, it impacts, you know, what it is that they're thinking about the hospital and your radiology department or your services. So, you know, let's move away from those Xerox kind of brochures that are handmade. And so we get out there into the community and we interact with them. We take some nice-looking business cards and a brochure with us when we speak to the groups for folks to take away. So now they've got something that they take back into the home. If we're speaking, we ought to have a banner behind us, or as people are walking in, we ought to have a banner with our logo on it so they know and identify that you know, who the speaker is. There's you know, those are all good techniques from the community interaction. We're going to talk more about that here in a few minutes. The sales is also there because I think that we owe it to ourselves to you know, be just a little bit more aggressive in the sales strategy. What I mean by that is, for instance, right now we're at the end of the year and we've got people that will take advantage of or won't take advantage of the free wellness exams, the annual wellness exams. For those with insurance, those are free once a year. For those with Medicare, you know, those are free as well. And you know, I've been, according to an article that we just put out in one of our markets, the CDC says that it's estimated that over 50% of those who are eligible for annual wellness exams do not take advantage of them. So that's why I say sales. It's like, let's identify them. Let's get into our you know, clinic records. If we're a rural health clinic, let's get into those clinic records and take a look at it and find out who has had their wellness exam this year and who hasn't, and pick up the phone and call them and say, Ms. Jones, we noticed that you haven't had your wellness exam this year. We'd like to invite you to do that. Can you do Tuesday, or would Thursday be better for you next week? That, like Tuesday or Thursday, moving them right into that process. That's sales, I get it. But you know what? When you're talking about a wellness exam, it's not the you know, the 100 plus, 300, 400, 500, whatever dollars that's coming into your clinic practice. It's also the lab work and the x-rays and all those things that might be appropriate depending upon what the provider's assessment is. So that's good revenue stream, but it's also taking care of our community with those wellness exams. Same thing with the screenings for our mammograms and our DEXA scans. You know, to be proactive, not just send a postcard. That's good, please do that, but to also you know, pick up the phone and call them. If you're having a flu clinic, and I've got a client that's having a flu clinic this very afternoon, a drive-through flu clinic, and you know, what a great time to take the appointment book, so to speak, out there. And as the women come in, just talk about you know, just wondering, because we care about your health and well-being, have you had your annual wellness exam? And if they say no, then just say, well, why don't we call you on Monday and we'll get that scheduled. Or if you've got your scheduling book, we could just schedule it right there. Have you had your annual mammogram? You know, those kinds of things. Those are good things that we can do for our community. They happen to generate some revenues as well. So that's our marketing mix that we're working with. Let's jump into November and see what kinds of things we might be able to do for November. So remember, marketing is the sum total of all impressions, and so everything that we do, we want to make sure that we're leaving that good, solid impression. Let's go back to that Senior Citizen Center for just a moment, and I invite you to go to your Senior Citizen Center on a regular basis. But to pull all of this together, It's going out into the community. It's taking the banner with you. It's having a nice brochure. It's having a business card that people can follow up and call and put in their purse. It's, if you're doing a blood pressure clinic, it's having a card where you can write down the blood pressure numbers on the back of the card. It's got your phone number on the other side and your brand, your logo. If you're inviting them or talking about a wellness exam and the importance of the wellness exam, it's following up with the appointment. When they walk into the facility, it's clean, it's well kept. They are welcome to the facility, your clinic. So all of these pieces coming together where people are experiencing what that brand, what your company, what your logo, your hospital is about, bringing them and tying them all together, all the way to the customer service aspect of it. So just remember that marketing is the sum total of all impressions, and we want to leave those great impressions. So if you have a question, I'm always available for phone or email. Honestly, you might have a better chance of connecting with me if you send me an email first, and then we set up an appointment. But give me a call also, whichever is best for you, and certainly I will do my best to try to answer your questions. Final thoughts: marketing and PR is not an expense, but rather an investment into your future.